and welcome to Talk a Good Game, where we're going to be doing the Sunderland preview. We obviously travelled up to Sunderland on Saturday and we drew 2-2. I am Redhammer from Hammer's Chat. I've got two other fellow members from Hammer's Chat with me. First of all, I've got Mr. Regular, Gonzo. Good evening, Gonzo.
Good evening, sir. You okay?
Iffy, a wee bit iffy. What about yourself?
Not bad, mate. Not bad, thank you.
It's okay, you sound a bit more positive than I. And we've got Tom, who was at the game as well. Hello, Tom.
Hi all, nice to see you again.
Likewise, thank you for popping back on. Quick question at the start though, before the game, Gonzo, would you have took a point?
No.
Tom, would you have took a point before the game?
No.
Well, either would I. Anyway, it was quite an early goal. Stephen Fletcher with his Osama bin Laden beard. Very good free kick actually. O'Shea managed to block off Tompkins a wee bit, give Fletcher that free run to smash home from early. What a needless foul though by Jenkins and Gonzo.
Yeah, I was fuming actually. As well, you know, I've been quite harshly critical of him. Just really good for him that he managed to claw a goal back, wasn't it? Really, because you know, maybe you'll get onto it later when his place is up for grabs. Really, as soon as O'Connor's back, then I would expect Tompkins to drop back in there.
Yeah, I think that was a stupid foul. Barini was going nowhere. He was heading towards the corner. There was very little support in the box anyway. Push. Free kick. Well done. Well, fantastic, Carl Jenkins. Well done. Just what we needed immediately. And I think that got Sunderland up and going. And it wasn't too long after. It was 2-0. Payet's pass. Reed jumped in. It was very Norwich-esque, actually, I think, that goal. It was very similar to last weekend. Payet's short pass. Tom, even though you were there, you must have been quite impressed with the quality of the goal.
Oh, I mean, I don't know the audacity to chip Adrian. Really, everyone was like, I think a few of us actually clapped because it was a lovely taking goal, wasn't it? It really, I mean, the audacity to chip him, you know, and it was just inch perfect, wasn't it? You know, but going back to the first goal of give the foul away, actually Jenkinson actually headed the ball into the corner, but he didn't deal with it in the first place. So, yeah, pretty disappointing for him, to be honest.
What was the crowd like at 2-0 down? It was quite early as well. What was it, the 20th minute or something, and we're 2-0 down. What was the crowd like in the way in, Tom?
I would like to say we was really in a really good mood, but we wasn't. I mean, yeah, well, honestly, we thought you see him miss that sitter as well, didn't you? And everyone was like, well, I think we all knew our luck was in then. Once they missed that sitter for 3-0, we all thought, oh, our luck's in here, and we thought if we nicked one before half time, we've got a chance. And exactly what happened, but we didn't deserve anything that first half. We was absolutely shit.
Yeah, Gonzo, I was just waiting to ask you that. Obviously, Barini missed that chance after Bin Laden put him 1-on-1. 2-1, Jenkinson pulled back. Moses was pretty poor up until then as well as Jenkinson, wasn't he?
I think we're seeing what Moses is. I think we're seeing why he's not stayed at any club for any length of time and why he's not nailed down a position at Chelsea. Apparently, he was their best player in pre-season. He's really effective for us. I think he's going to blow hot and cold, but he was absolute pants, wasn't he, leading up to that? And you know, as we were at the game together, I thought he was absolute pants against Norwich as well. So, you know, but he's got that. He can come up with a moment of magic, and fortunately, he did.
He frustrates me. I find he's on the deck an awful lot. He seems to be one of these that goes down quite easily. He just sits there waiting for the ref. I mean, he got done in the second half for jumping and catching the ball. It wasn't a foul. He just lay down and caught the ball. And maybe it's because of where he's been brought up, Chelsea. But I think that needs stamped out of his game straight away because it's frustrating. It frustrates me when a player goes down. He just sits there waiting for a free kick, and if it doesn't get going, he still just sits there anyway. 2-1 down at half time. Tom, red card not long after for Sunderland. What a nasty tackle, wasn't it, by Lenz, do you think, Tom?
Reed actually went off substituted, and we all think he was injured. I don't think he was too happy about going off, but he was 50-50 before the game, wasn't he? And he got selected to start. So I think that challenge actually done something to him personally. Yeah, it wasn't a very nice challenge, but he got up from it, but he played on for a little while and he got subbed, didn't he? But no, it wasn't a good challenge, no.
It was horrible. It was a bit nasty. But to be fair, if I was the Sunderland manager before the game and West Ham had a centre-back who'd only just made the game, I'd have been telling my players, get in on him early and get him off the pitch. Because Reed is, for me, our best player. I think he's our most important player. I think when he's not on the pitch, our defence is everywhere. And we've seen that at Leicester in the Cup, where Tompkins and Collins there were two very experienced centre-backs in the Premier League. They're not that bad, but our defence was just everywhere in that game. And that was with Jenkinson and Creswell at fullbacks as well. But that's why I'd been telling my players, get in on Reed straight away and get him taken off injured. But it's definitely a red card though, horrible. Lanzini, Gonzo, his shot led to the second goal, but he had quite a few long rangers. Did he impress you?
Last two games for me. You spoke about Reed, he was very impressive against Norwich, but the last two games, Lanzini has really shown what he's all about. His ball retention's good, his dribbling's good, he's just missing goals, adding goals to that, but it looks like they'll come. And, well, number one, it's refreshing that we are seeing players this season shoot from outside the box, but for a little fella, he certainly seemed to get a lot of purchase on the shots, and they generate a lot of power as they head towards goal. Perhaps the keeper, Pantilimon, could have dealt with it a bit better, but he's looking like a really good signing. I think he'd be a crowd favourite, and we really need to look at getting him on a permanent deal because he's only on loan, isn't he?
Yeah, we do 100% though. We do have that fee arranged for the end of the season, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. We don't have one for Moses though. Moses is a loan deal, no fee at the end of it. Tom, Mark Noble picked up the second fastest booking in the Premier League so far, and then he almost, whatever kind of tackle you want to describe that, when he just launched himself into a Sunderland player. Do you think he was very lucky to be on the pitch, Tom?
Yeah, he was very, very lucky to be still on the pitch, to be honest. We all thought he was going, but he had another terrible game yesterday, to be honest with him. I mean, the Norwich game, I think he was awful as well. He was, I mean, I know obviously Scott doesn't like him, doesn't he, you know, and judging on the last two games, you can see that his golfing class is not as good as other players, and we was all surprised that Obiang didn't come on for him, to be honest. But yeah, it wasn't a very good game for him yesterday.
I think maybe if it was 11v11, I think he might have made that Noble sub a little bit earlier. I think because Sunderland had 10, he wasn't really busy at all. Once they went down to 10 men, Noble wasn't really busy defensively, apart from that one moment when he always just did that silly foul. Gonzo, Jelavic came on. What did you make of him?
He's rubbish, isn't he?
That's your opinion. I'll give my opinion after you. On you go.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand why we bought him, and the injury to Andy Carroll shows exactly why we bought him. I think we bought him because we probably couldn't get anybody else at that last minute, and I don't want to be too harsh on him. It's a bit of a shame that he's not on a loan, actually, because I think we have actually bought him for 2 years. Listen, hopefully he'll do well. We were really going at it at that point, but you know, he did really well to miss that chance. It was better to watch it first time on a sort of grainy stream that I picked up league. I shouldn't say that, really, should I? But when I watched it in full HD on Match of the Day later, I thought, crikey, how did he miss that? Yeah, not clever, mate.
Tom, do you share that view? The way must have been cursing their luck when Jelavic missed that chance, were they?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, he's not very good, is he? But he's quite slow, to be honest. I was quite surprised how slow he was getting going. Once he's going, you wouldn't like to get in the way of him, because he's quite a big. Yeah. But yeah, he's not very. He's not well. Going by the chance yesterday, and they're the sort of chances. If you're not in the first team all the time, you've got to take your chances, haven't you? Really, to give Village a bit of sort of thinking power. I think, oh look, we've got Jelavic on the bench, not Carroll. But no, yeah, it was poor for him yesterday when he come on.
I'm going to defend him a little bit. He's a striker that hasn't played much. He had his wee run in the Championship before he came here, obviously. He's probably low in confidence. I think that's what it was. I think it was just, that is an example of a striker low in confidence. A bit like Barini's missing the first half. It's just a striker who doesn't believe in himself a wee bit compared to Aguero against Newcastle. You see what he was like. Everyone's seen the highlights, how clinical he was. He's just buzzing. He knows he's got the ability. But
did you just compare Aguero to Jelavic?
I'm talking about confidence. It's not the same thing. I'm not comparing ability. But I've always said the hardest thing for a striker is to get into the scoring position. The reading the game and getting into the scoring position is the hardest. I think the easiest bit is tapping into the net. I think that's the easy part that anyone can do. The hardest part is reading the game. So I will give him credit for reading the game and getting on the end of that. A lot of strikers would have stood still and expected Sacco to get that, and when it went past him, oh well, I was expecting Sacco to get that. I think he'll come good. and it's a bullet signing at the end of the day, and we have to have faith in it. Zarate came on in the 80th minute. Now, I was disappointed at this because I think he should have been on a lot sooner, or at least Antonio. It was the same against Bournemouth when we were a goal down. I don't sense urgency. For some reason, I just do not sense we're throwing the kitchen sink at Sunderland. I think we should have been. It might just be me, but I don't think we had that many shots apart from Lanzini's long rangers. And I didn't sense the third goal coming. 10, 15 minutes to go. I just thought this is going to finish 2-2. I just didn't feel any push. Is that just me, Tom, or what were you like at the ground?
No, exactly the same. Everyone, yeah. I mean, his options were limited, weren't they? All he had was obviously Carroll's injured, and he had Jelic. And I think once Valencia comes back, I think that gives another dimension to what Bilic wants to probably do. And if you've got someone like Valencia on the bench, a bit of pace, winger/forward, yeah, he can come on and maybe sort of create something. But obviously Jelic obviously couldn't. But no, yeah, it was. Yeah, I think everyone realised that there was nothing really at the top to get to that sort of creativeness of get us 3-2 up. Yeah, you're right. So once we got, I think we was quite lucky. Obviously, the goalie made that mistake for 2-2. Yeah, so
Gonzo, 2 points dropped or 1 point gained. Obviously, before the game we would have said 2 dropped, but because we went 2-0 down, are you happy with a point, or are you still a bit? We shouldn't have gone 2 down in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, you've answered it for me. I think about that, but I also think we've been spoiled with the away victories. I think any time in the Premier League you can get a point away from home is a good day. Clearly, they were playing for him. I guess the squad knew that the manager was going to leave, and that was his last game. They were up for it. Whether it was Advocat got him going, or it was our defending, or lack of a midfield, we seemed to make Barini look like Zidane as well. So I think, in those terms, actually going up there, it's a long old journey as well. I think a point away from home is probably a good result. But with football fans, I think we've got used. We've almost believed our own hype. I think we are, we're the absolute kings away from home, aren't we? And I think we're expecting to go everywhere and win. It's just not going to happen.
Well, I wasn't disappointed by that. I was disappointed by the fact I went to Sunderland, who had 2 points from 7 games so far. We gave them their third, and that's what disappointed me. But to put it into context, like Gonzo said, last season we 1-3 and drew 7 on the road. So far this season we've 1-3 and drawn 1. So we're only 6 points off equal on last season's away record. We've still got 15 away games to play. So we only need 2 wins or a win and 3 draws, whatever way you want to look at it. We equalled last week's one. The news so far this week, though, Dick Advocat's walked out of Sunderland. Apparently it's still to be confirmed, but it seems like he's done it.
It has been confirmed.
Confirmed now.
Ellis Short's done a statement.
Okay. And Brendan Rodgers has been sacked, but the biggest one for us is Adrian's 2-year deal with a 2-year extension. Tom, delighted?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, fantastic news.
I think it's very good business. 2 years, and if he's gone downhill somehow, we can get rid of him. But if we want, we can throw in that extra 2 years and keep him here till he's 32, which is no age for a keeper. Gonzo, how good is Adrian?
He's very good, but I think we've been blessed, really. We've had some really good keepers in recent years. I'm talking about, you go back and you've got Phil Parks, but I think Hislop was a good keeper, McCloskey was a good keeper, Green, James, well, it's only really Alan McKnight who was rubbish. Really we're used to having good keepers, and I think he sort of carried that tradition on. I think he's very good. As I said last week, he seems to have that sort of Spanish style of shot stopping. I think we're very, very lucky to have him.
I mean, yeah, and the crowd love him, and he loves the crowd. I mean, when you're there, you can see the passion in him, and that's what you want, really. I mean, and I don't think he was ever intended to go anywhere else, to be honest, because he actually loves the club. You can tell that.
Yeah, his contract ran out in the summer. I don't think there was any panic about him signing a new one compared to Reed last year. I think everybody was in hysterics whether he was going to stay or not. Anyway, there's an international break now, but we'll be back in a week and a half or so with our Crystal Palace review when we go to play them on the 17th of October. That same weekend, West Ham ladies play Tottenham Hotspur at home at Hornchurch, so you can pop along for just a £5, and there is a bar with a beer garden overlooking the pitch if you fancy having a drink while you watch the game. Remember to subscribe, and also go to hammerschat.com, and you can follow us on social media. The one debate that Gonzo brought up is he seems to think Payet is better than Griezmann, Nasri and Frank Ribery. And I'm going to end it there. Gonzo does not get to speak back on that. Gonzo, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Tom, thank you very much for popping back on.
No problem. Cheers.
And I've been Redhammer, and this has been Talking Good Game. Good night.